I'm out of bourbon. What am I gonna do? I guess I'm gonna bring you the next Metal Mischief then. Misfits and miscreants, bangers and rushers, deviants and the deviated, the tormented and the fermented, ghouls and goblins, creatures of the night. Jack those headphones, crank your volume to max, spark it up, and just relax. It's time for your deadly dose. Welcome to the next installment of Metal Mischief. And on today's lineup, I have a band that we haven't heard from in a hot minute, actually, but it's about fucking time that they came back onto the scene. So, I am talking about Rotten Sound. And if you guys are fans of grindcore, death grind, anything like that, then you probably know this name, Rotten Sound. That's right. Our boys from over there in Finland, putting out a new album, finally. I mean, what was it? 2018 was their last album. So, you know, it's about time that we had something else come out from these guys. But, I was super excited when I heard that, they were putting out a new album. So, I thought to myself, you know, it's been years since I've pulled out and listened to any Rotten Sound. So I went back and I have a couple of their albums in my collection, but one of them actually being their last album, and that was called Suffer to Abuse. And that one is definitely a heavy hitter. They had a different lineup than they do now, but we'll get to that in a minute. It was a really good album. And I like their old school stuff quite a bit. You know, it all has its phases and everything, but they're always a heavy hitter, and they always come out on top as far as like their albums are concerned. And that's the case with the new album too. Apocalypse is very, very good. But I'm not going to give away too much yet because we got a lot more to talk about. So, you know, I am a fan of grind metal a lot. I love my grind metal and I love my death metal. Those are some of my favorite genres when it comes to metal, and thrash being way up there. But anyway, you know, this Finnish ensemble basically kind of sits way up there on my list of like what I like to call impressive, aggressive grindcore. You know, these guys, if you actually dive into their lyrics and stuff, they're actually trying to communicate something really poignant and brilliant to that shit that we call gray matter up here. So, you know, it's one of those bands that you actually want to listen to their, read the lyrics. You know, look at the linears and everything. You know, it's one of those bands that actually has something to say. So if we take the time to open up and listen, then, you know, I don't know, it could just be a little blip of something awesome in your day. So, you know, politics and all that aside, you know, they talk a little bit about that, a little bit about just like what's going on in our social, like, norms and shit nowadays, and, you know, basically breaking down, like, how we treat each other and shit. So, I'm just saying, like, that's, you know, that's the thing. So, if any of that shit offends you, then don't listen to this album. I don't give a fuck. I'm just here to tell you what I think. So, I actually think that the new album dresses to impress, though. With 18 blistering, fast, and brutally real tracks, it's a very pleasant way to spend 20 minutes. Each song relentlessly, like, touches at that, like, throbbing pulse in your neck. And then all of a sudden it's over before you know it. So, yeah, I mean, you know, that's the thing about grindcore and grind metal, though, is that it's so fast-paced that the albums are usually done before you realize it. So, you know, I digress. But at the same time, you know, with them being around since 1993, they have brought 30 years of like mind melting and like stomach grinding, grind. And, you know, this album leans a little bit more to like the death metal side of things, which I actually really enjoy because, as I, you know, mentioned just a little bit ago, and if you follow my Metal Mischiefs or know much about Thrashers and Destroyers or me in general, if you've seen me out and about, then you know how much I love my death metal. But anyway, it's really awesome that they incorporated that more into like this album, and I really appreciate that a lot, you know. So, you know, in my opinion, Rotten Sound has like, you know, it's a vintage act, but at the same time, it's returning to the folds, and like, it has like this more inspired rage, if that makes any sense, if you know what I mean when I say that. So, you know, just as I mentioned just a minute ago, proceed with caution. So moving on though, they are touring, and much to my dismay, they are not touring here in the States, unfortunately. They are actually touring overseas. It's a European tour kicking off in Germany because, damn it, Germany gets all the best fucking shows. Oh my fuck. Have you actually looked at like the lineup for the German like metal shows that are going on? It's seriously impressive, and I really wish we had some of those festivals over here. I mean, we do have Full Terror Assault, Maryland Death Fest, and what is it, Horror in the Bay, or Horror in the Harbor, or Thrash in the Harbor, whatever. We do have quite a few of our own like metal events and venues and all that shit here, but man, if you really look at like over in Europe, those festivals are just insane. Like, insane. That's for another episode, though, because, you know, I always usually dedicate a whole episode to just, like, shows and things that are going on. But anyway, much to my dismay, they are not coming here, unfortunately. But at the same time, I'm just really happy to have them back on the scene and doing their fucking thing again. So, you know, I'm not going to complain too much. But with this new album actually came a new lineup too. So let's talk about that real quick. We have several of the original members. I say several because there's 4 members and 2 of them are original members. But so half of the original members are still with the band. But here, new members. Shitty drum roll, please. Mike Alto on guitars. Maddie, and you know, I always have to preface this with I fuck up names constantly, and I apologize like proficiently if I fuck up your name, and I am sorry, but I do have the best intentions, okay? So Mike Alto, okay, on guitars, and Maddie Rapana. See, he was bass and backing vocals. And then Sammy Latva, and he was on drums. And then, this is the one I knew I was going to struggle with. Kijo Nima? Kijo Nima? I don't know, he's a badass, though, on lead vocals. So there's a new lineup for Rotten Sound, if you guys were wondering, because I know you were. So, anyway, They are distributed by Season of the Mist. Let's see. Let me look at my notes here, because here I forget. Okay, so distributed by Season of the Mist, and you can find the new album on Spotify, Bandcamp, and of course, soon at Better Days Records. Because who stocks the metal at Better Days Records? I do. And guess who's going to try to get all the new releases that she does these metal album reviews on? This girl right here. That's right. So check into Better Days Records, because I plan on having this on vinyl as soon as it's actually available. We have been having supply issues with vinyl, so please bear with us if like you've been looking for stuff or there's some new releases and shit out there that you haven't seen. It's because we are still actually having issues with getting the vinyl pressed and everything. So bear with us. It's out there and it's coming and I'm trying. So anyway, yeah. But I do plan on having this one in stock in the store as soon as I can get it. So you know, back to my notes here because I forget all these things. Apocalypse was actually mixed by Rain City Studios, mastered by Audio Siege, and recorded at Sound Supreme and Nordic Audio Labs. So you guys can see why I couldn't remember all that, right? But anyway, masterfully done. Good job, all of you involved. Fucking great. I mean, it's hard for me to actually like pick one song off of this album that I like the most because I do like the album in its entirety. Even though I do kind of feel like it could have used like, I don't know, a little more diversity when it came to like the overall composition of it, because I mean, like, all the songs kind of run together. Like, there's not a whole lot of differentiating in there. But I mean, I still liked it because even though like it was like kind of like, you know, a soundtrack for something, because like it was just, and I like that about the nonstop brutality of it. I do, don't get me wrong. But just a little bit of like maybe some changes there at, I don't know, or maybe rearrange the songs. Just I don't know. I'm not trying to be an asshole about it. I do like the album, and but that would be my one criticism, you know. So overall, I do think that these grind veterans definitely still got it, and I'm gonna say that I suggest that this album goes on your playlist of songs to fuck to, because yeah, it's just fucking, yeah. Unless you're trying to have like a romantic night, then do not put it on next to Barry Manilow. Like, just don't do that. Okay, so speaking of better days, and I was just, you know, plugging that earlier, but seriously, hit me up. You guys got any music out there you want me to feature your bands? I set up meet and greets and all kinds of things. So just reach out to me at Thrashers and Destroyers via like Facebook or whatever, you know, whatever. But or Athena Paradko, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram and all that shit, of course. But just reach out to me, let me know. I would love to carry your band's vinyl or CDs or buttons, stickers, t-shirts, I mean, whatever kind of merch you got, koozies, all those things. Bring them to me. We will put them in the store. We will sell them for you happily. And, you know, I just want to support you guys. So just hit me up, okay? I got you. All right. So another thing I'd like to talk about really quick is upcoming events that are local to Louisville, Kentucky. All right. So, and these are all revolve around metal. So the first two I'm actually going to mention are two events that I'm putting on with my Thrashers and Destroyers, and they're both being hosted at Better Days Records. And the first one coming up is actually really soon. It's April 15th, and it's the artwork of Nick and Susie C, The Dead Seas. And we're actually taking over a nice big chunk of Better Days Records wall over there, and we're going to feature their art. We're going to have an opening on the 15th that evening from 4:30 until 7:30 p.m. But it is going to hang for a whole month. So if you can't come to the opening and you want to come check it out, or you want to buy some awesome local art or whatever, just come on down, because it's going to be up there for a month. And then guess what? After that, we've got Russell Jackson coming in and doing an art show with us too for another Heavier Days event. But in between that, there's another Heavier Days event, and it's a meet and greet with the bands, and it is Belushi's Speedball. Belushi Speedball! Local thrash pandas, as I like to call them, and I hope that doesn't offend them, because they haven't told me that it does, but at the same time, you know, I just think it's funny. Anyway, Belushi Speedball, if you want to meet them, come on down, and that's actually on April 23rd. So show up down there at April 23rd and catch Belushi Speedball that evening. That's at 5 o'clock until 7:30 that night. So definitely come down, meet the band. We're going to have free promo photos and things like that for them to sign for you. It's just going to be a cool, chill meet and greet. It's free. All my Heavier Days events are free. Holy fuck. So you have like no reason not to fucking come and say hi to me, not to meet the bands, not to see the art, not to meet the artists. I mean, it's local, it's love, it's your record store, it's your local artist. Come support us. We would love to see you guys, okay? So just pop in, say hi, you know. That, and I'm there almost every Saturday. If I'm not out filming and doing some other crazy shit, then I'm usually there on Saturdays. So you can catch me there. We could talk some metal or just music in general. I mean, I like all kinds of music. I just prefer my metal. Anyway, on to the shows I wanted to talk about. We do have some upcoming local shows that are right in your backyard. If you're watching this from Louisville, Kentucky, if you're not, then you should come on down and visit us. We make great neighbors. But let's start. And I'm going to have to look at my notes again. So, alright. So, we've got Bowels at Metal Monday on April 10th. So, that's coming up like next Monday. And then we've got DRI April 12th, and that's at Mag Bar. And then we've got Bat Wizard Stormtoker on April 14th, and that's at Planet of the Tapes. And then we've got Eulogy and Blood at Metal Monday on April 17th. And Goat Whore, Bastard Sons of a Judas Goat, and Artwork for the Blind, all playing at Z Bar on April 21st. And then we're going to jump into May real quick, and I apologize if I might have missed one in there, but there's a lot going on in Louisville. Fists of Riffs, and that's May 12th through the 13th, and that's at the 21st Amendment. And that is hosted by Saul of Artwork for the Blind, which, stay tuned, because there is going to be like a little trailer for them where he talks about the new label that they're on and all the fun and exciting things going on with Artwork for the Blind. So stay tuned for that too. That's coming out very soon if you haven't already seen him post it on their pages. But moving on. Oh, and I do have to mention, I've been doing a lot of filming with TROMA lately, so if you are a fan of TROMA, your local Tromette in Louisville, Blood Queen, has been doing a lot of work with the famous Lloyd Kaufman, and got to recently spend some time in Tromaville, and what a fucking experience, let me tell you. But, so be looking for that shit now, and I actually have 2 of my movies that I've been in, Holy Shit Man and Truly Madly, and 3 movies, and Crazy Fat Ethel, that all just came out on TROMA Now, which is a streaming service provided by TROMA Films, and it's only like $6 a month. It's cheaper than all the other streaming services, and you get all the TROMA movies plus some of my movies and probably movies from other people that you know. So anyway, that's my plug for TROMA Now as well. And moving on, we are at that point where it's time for Athena's 5-shot review. So, if you have not been paying attention, here are the rules for Athena's 5-shot review. Okay, alright. So, if I give you 5 shots, that means I had to take 5 shots to get through the motherfucker. Okay? If I had to have 4 shots, that means, meh, is alright. Probably could have used some oomph. If it had 3 shots, that meant it was really good. It made me bang my head. And if it was 2 shots, then it's really good. You want to put that shit in the glove box for traveling. And if it's 1 shot, then it was excellent. I'm definitely gonna have a bangover in the morning. So, shitty drum roll, please. I'm gonna give Rotten Sound's new album, Apocalypse, 3 shots! It was really good. It made me air drum and bang my head. So, until we meet again, have a most excellent time. And don't forget, keep it heavy. Horns and high five.